Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe discovered their very first mountain wanderer, and while she does appear to have the strength of the sun within her, I think it's her resemblance to Adam's family that is truly going to set her apart. For starters, she actually has the stripes. That's something that our tribe hasn't seen in ages. In fact, ever since the bluebird feathers merged back as one, it seems like the Sky Seeker's way of life has truly overtaken Adam's pride. They don't worry about those old traditions anymore, like keeping the stripes on their babies. Once upon a time, after all, only the striped children were allowed to carry the bluebird feathers. So won't she be surprised when she sees that the feathers have basically fallen into the hands of thieves? A lot of you had the theory that she probably is related to Adam's family. Maybe she's even a child of some distant branch that we left behind on a previous island. So she's so far removed from our family right now, it might as well be non-existent, but I think she does know the stories. You know, I don't think I mentioned in the last episode she even has the poison fangs in her inactive traits, so she is a pretty special creature. I think she's going to really enjoy getting to know our creatures here, our entire tribe, and hopefully telling them a little bit more about Adam's story too. Maybe she'll even be the one to push them ahead to the ports, because as it is right now, our bandits aren't really too interested in getting back to Adam's home. It doesn't seem like it's their priority anymore. Tavon, for instance, is far more concerned with proving that the shadows are greater than the might of the sun. And because of that, I feel like he's getting a little bit sick of all of this love-struck warmth under the tree. So let's bring him away from the shadow of the safe haven. In fact, maybe he'll even follow in the bluebird shadow instead. I mean, despite the fact that he might not know Adam's stories, even he would have to feel that pull. Let's have him sniff around too. We know that there are plenty of little morsels that he could snag up, though I'm not sure if he's going to be strong enough. He only has the ram horns, he doesn't have any claws to his name, and the water body doesn't really help him grab food. But I'm sure that he would still try, so we'll bring him over here to try to swipe up the mole. But Tavon, I don't think it's going to work. I guess this would be his cue to go running back to his brother. No matter how mischievous he is, he always seems to return to Tavanku for guidance. Though won't he be surprised to see that he's about to start a brand new family with Daylight, one of the oracles herself, and one who has also been touched by the might of the sun. So the two lines are joining once more, and it always seems to be Daylight that brings them together, but I do want to make sure that we take a look at their mutation menus before we go any further. So Daylight doesn't have anything in her mutation menu, we left it completely open, and I'm thinking we should probably place some normal eyesight in there, just so we don't have to worry about the short-sighted eyes. After all, if Reko decides to have some babies, she has the blindness in her genetics, so we're going to have to be careful about that in the future. As for Tavanku though, with his lean body and his inactive water body, I think it's pretty clear that we need to make sure we have the medium body in his traits. We don't want that lean body taking over their babies, because that is going to be disastrous once we go to the next challenge island. Now aside from that, I think I'm going to skip the antennas. I don't want too many oracles in the tribe at once. I feel like that would only dilute their powers. And I think that Frost Owl could probably take on that role now. We'll make sure that his family keeps the oracle's powers strong. So instead, let's place the Berryina ears into a second slot, because he does also carry the pig ears in his inactive traits. And I think it's guaranteed for Daylight to pass the Berryina ears. So I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to see big-eared babies if we're not careful. Now I believe her prophecy said that in just one day it's going to be nice and sunny, so that's why she figures it's the best time for her to start her family. Oh, with the bunnies hopping around too, I think they may have stolen all of your berries. So go ahead and plant your nest down right here, and then maybe clear out the grass so we can see all of those delicious berries a little bit easier. It would be nice if maybe Frost Owl could help you hunt those down, since he's kind of one of the only creatures around here who can do so. Though I suppose Soul could too. And since Trinket is going to be busy raising her family, let's bring him back down to the shores. I guess we'll have him trail in his sister's shadow, He is a quiet individual after all, and these two were the only ones who truly knew how to communicate. Granted, the bunnies seem awfully interested in learning your language. Oh my gosh, I wonder if they could communicate with them? With those big ears that the bunnies have, it's almost like the antennas. Oh, maybe they could form a little pact of some sort. That way the bunnies won't steal all of their berries. Though to be honest, I think the bunny meat would go better in our stores because we do need to make sure we have enough food to survive the journey ahead. Now let's make sure that we breed Trinket with Nuvan. I suppose we'll have him use his turns. I'm pretty sure we already set up their mutation menus, so we don't have to worry about that. Go ahead and plant down your nest, and then scoop up all of that delicious fish, of course. That is going to be good food for your babies. I think I want Nuvan to stay right here. So instead of moving them... Oh, wait a second. Oh, Trinket, the crabbits are gazing upon your nest, I think. It looks as if they might be gazing across the stream. I guess he was a little bit curious about where you may have run off to. That must be the same crabbit that she found way out here. That was actually the crabbit that kind of inspired her to go after Nuvan. Very, very interesting. I wonder what that could mean. Well, if the crabbits are on your side, maybe that means Splash is watching out for you too. But we can't forget about Ismee. She wants to have a nice big family too. So let's bring her underneath the tree this time. That way, when we breed these two, she can plant down her own nest. That bluebird is still circling right over our oracles. It makes me wonder if maybe they'll have another vision soon. Maybe it's even Frost Howl's turn to have his own visions. Maybe that's why he's so tired today. After meeting Reko, and after seeing her gorgeous stripes, maybe that sparked something new in the back of his mind. Well, either way, all that should be left is to just bring Daybreak into the grasses to look for some more roots to dig up. And actually, it looks like there are a couple right over here next to your mate. So let's bring you over this way so you can dig up those roots for her, and hopefully put a couple more of her family to rest. We're going to have to leave Reko basically quarantined over here, because unfortunately she is sick. I think she's going to have to seek out the help of one of our healers, in fact, to make sure that she doesn't pass away too early. Though I do wonder if maybe we could find some healing fruits out here. There are plenty of grasses where they could potentially spawn, so we'll have to keep our eyes out. Maybe that would be a good thing for one of our big-nosed creatures to go smelling for. Now, our babies look very interesting today. It looks like we do actually have, oh my gosh, a guild baby in the nest. And he bears a striking resemblance to Spook from our Oasis Island. Oh, I love to see those double claws on their babies too. He is going to be so good at hunting down the fish. He almost looks like a fish himself, like a dark little clown koi. And with his immunity genes too, oh my gosh, does he not look like the friendliest little baby, waving with his two big claws at everyone? Maybe that's just his way of getting other creatures to let down their guard, because if he's anything like our pirate king, then he is going to be quite mischievous. I think we're going to name him Doubloon, just as a little callback to his pirate roots perhaps, if I can actually spell it right. Now let's take a look at our new oracle babies next. Or at least Daylight's new baby, who appears to have the Berryina ears after all. Oh my gosh, how precious does she look? Oh, she looks like a little flower. That light pink fur, and those spots are gorgeous too. That's going to make her blend in quite well, actually. It's almost like little muddy spots. Maybe she's going to make for a good scout. And with her oracle ancestors, maybe they could help warn her about any potential dangers. I think she's going to be an interesting one to follow. She even has the velvet paw, I believe. Yeah, one of those velvet paws. Oh, and the home island gene. Some of you have been asking where that is, and I know we have a few creatures with the home island gene right now, but this just ensures that we're not going to lose it before we get to Adam's Island. That's always my top priority, so I always make sure that we have a few creatures with it in our tribe. But as for her name, why don't we call her Dawnsoul? She has that kind of pinkish colored fur on her, so I think that would be a good name to fit her, like a nice pink dawn sky. And last but not least, it would appear as if this baby over here actually has these saber fangs just like his mother. He actually looks quite a bit like his mother. Very, very interesting. And he also has the digging bomb, so at least we know there's somebody around here who can carry on his father's ways and help him set all of those old ancient warriors to rest. I think for you, a nice fierce name would do. Maybe even something to harken back to Izmi's roots. We'll name him Frostbite, which is not only a perfect name for the mountains, but also the name of our very first mountain tribe in the game. Now, since Izmi does want such a big family, I think we're going to breed them again right away. So we'll scoot these babies out of the nest so she can use her old one, and soon these creatures are going to have a nice big group to travel with. The same, of course, can't really be said for Tavon, but that's why he's going to go returning back to his brother's side to see his new little baby and all of these bunnies as they once again steal our berries. Oh no, Soul. I don't think you were quite intimidating enough for these bunnies. It looks like they didn't listen to your warnings when you tried flapping your antennas at them. So it's going to be up to you to make sure that they don't steal anymore, I guess. Assuming they haven't weaseled their way into your soft little heart. Now, I don't think Tavon even knows that our creatures found Reko in the grasses. Oh, and she is just withering away. Maybe Frost Howl would notice, and he would usher her toward the purr snouts, because he knows that Tavanku should be able to heal her. So we'll sit her right here for now. That way he can at least purr. But in the process, she's going to notice this creature who is actually carrying the bluebird feathers. The bluebird feathers of legends. Now this is really going to shock her. Of course, he doesn't have the stripes, and he's been off on his own for so long. That must be confusing in itself. Bluebird leaders are supposed to lead our tribe toward the next great migration. They're supposed to keep the tribe together as a unit. So why on earth would he be slinking through the shadows like this? Does he not know the old stories? The old legends? So maybe now would be a good time for her to settle down and tell him a couple of those stories herself. Normally, I don't think he would be too interested in hearing anything that she has to say. To be honest, I'm sure that he doesn't really believe Adam even existed. Some members of our tribe would have to stop believing in him after some time, because it has been literally 400 days since he was swept away from his home. But Reko seems like a pretty wise creature all in all, so maybe noticing that these creatures seem to favor the bandits, she would tell them about the bounties of Adam's home. Safe havens, trees as far as the eye can see, food that could literally last their tribe an entire lifetime. This is why it's so important that they seek out that paradise again. And of course that they see if Adam's family is still out there somewhere. They must be if creatures with the stripes are still popping up in their midst. So I think these stories would eventually capture Tavon's interest, and maybe he'd even be willing to spend a little bit more time by her side just to hear some more. You know, he could even purr for her too to ensure that she won't waste away. So I don't know, maybe these two will grow close enough to even start a little family of their own. I'm sure these stories would probably interest Frost Howl too. He was the one who initially discovered Reko after all. Probably again to do with those oracle powers of his. He must have sensed her out in the darkness. But he's a little bit too distracted right now to sit down and listen. He has received another vision. Maybe something about the ice on the horizon? That one lone unbreakable ice that needs the strength of the sun to melt it completely. So maybe we'll have him scoot his way back toward his Uncle Daybreak, because something is telling him that Daybreak and his family needs to know this the most. Perhaps he can even sense that the creature inside that glacier is somebody very special to this sunny little family. So hopefully his first prophecy will be able to reunite Izmi with one of her tribe mates. Of course, I'm sure that is easier said than done. We do have quite a few little babies here now, and somebody's going to have to make sure that they don't get into too much trouble. We don't know what sort of dangers are going to be waiting out in the tallest peaks after all. Now, last but not least, I believe since this is Newfound's final day, this is also our last chance to ensure that Trinket is going to have enough creatures around her to always keep her warm. So go ahead and breed with Trinket again. We'll have her place down her nest. It was a very short union between them, but I'm sure it's one that she's going to treasure greatly. The short time that she spent with her scruffy purple prince will always be close to her heart. Now with 2 more babies being born on this turn, let's go ahead and skip the day. I think I'm going to watch Trinket's baby, because I am quite curious if they're going to receive the gills just like their big brother. Oh, excellent, the gills again. Yes, and he's quite interesting, isn't he? No markings whatsoever. Oh, he looks like a little mudball, to be honest. He's going to be pretty good at slinking through the water undetected. I think it would be hard for the fish to notice him. Maybe we'll call this baby Mimic? Kind of like the good old mimics that you see in so many different games. The fish won't even know what hit them when he springs up to catch them with his claws. Oh, and it's so good to see this little baby awake too. Let's go ahead and give him his very first gem, because I think he's going to be ready to explore in no time. It's probably going to be very, very hard for his mother to keep him from diving into that stream, especially with all those tantalizing fish just dancing in front of them. I suppose one thing she's going to want to teach him early on is how to gather up the algae. I think he'll be able to. Or would he with his double claws? I wonder if he would be too clumsy for that. He might have to rely on his brother Mimic after all to gather him his algae for his future nests. Well, either way, Trinket is going to make sure they know how to follow the ways of their ancestors. Follow the ways of Splash. Oh, and another sunny little saber-toothed baby, this time with a big body too. Well, I can't think of a more promising sign that our creatures are ready to journey a little bit farther into the mountains. For that matter, Ismia's first daughter has even grown her second gem, so I suppose Marigold would be able to keep tabs on her younger brothers. They do seem like they would be the very wiry sorts, so she's going to have her hands full, but at least give their parents time to start carving out a pathway for them. We do have to name this strong little baby, though. Was strong indeed, a 7 in strength? Oh, he's going to be keeping them safe for sure, just in case they run into any hyenas along the way. I am actually really tempted to name this baby Sunflower. He has the brown mane too, so he almost looks like a sunflower. It's kind of a softer name than what we'd expect of such a big, strong warrior like he is. But I guess that's what would make this name fun. Maybe he's going to be the goofier sort. He'll swoop in to save the day when he needs to, but otherwise, he's all about just lazing around in those clover patches. With his big cat appearance, I could even see him just sunbathing all day, when there's no action for him to take care of at least. So let's have Ismi start making her way toward the northern parts of their territory, carving that pathway beyond the safe haven. That means they could potentially run into quite a bit of trouble out here, but I think our creatures are ready. We could even have Frost Howl try his best to lead the cause too. We'll have him pick up the grasses so they don't lose track of their babies, of course. In fact, Daybreak, why don't you go ahead and pick up this? Oh no! Oh no, another leech! Oh, and it got to you, Reko? Well, you know, somebody else in the tribe is actually very familiar with this very situation. Devon has seen his fair share of leeches too. So as the Crabbits watch, perhaps our ancestors are judging their friendship, we'll have Devon pick the leech off of you, finally showing consideration for somebody other than himself. That's why I think these two are going to get along very well. It's almost as if she's caused a little change of heart in him, so maybe the warmth of the sun has broken through after all. Now, since she's getting so close to the end of her lifespan, and that sickness is certainly not helping, if we're going to start a family between them, we need to do it right now. She does have so many flaws in her traits. It's going to be hard to pick which one we want to focus on. I feel like the fertility is going to have to be top priority though. We don't want our babies ending up infertile by accident. Then I suppose it's going to have to be the blood clotting next. We've done such a good job keeping the hemophilia out of our line after all of that trouble that we had toward the beginning of the game, so I really don't want to see it make its grand return. And as for you, Devon, now that you have discovered the true ways of Adam's family, it's time for you to shed that bandit lifestyle. Or at least hope that your children are going to do a better job than you. Truly, I can't see him abandoning it entirely. He is too much of a bandit with that giant mask of his to let it go at the drop of a hat, but maybe his babies will make up for what he lacks. Now thank goodness, Reko has just enough time to set up her very first nest. And this does mean that Tefan could potentially end up getting sick. But I think that Tefanku would probably notice. and feeling grateful that his brother is finally opening up to someone, that he's finally showing the true traits of a leader that he always wanted him to, he'll go ahead and purr for him and then scoot back to his family. So now even if he does end up catching Reko's colds, at least he'll be able to heal himself of all of that damage. Just in time too, because I know Tavanku is also reaching the end of his days. So, Daylight, if you're going to have any more children, it's going to have to be soon. Oh, and in 4 days it's going to rain? That prophecy again. I'm not sure if we're going to see it because the weather always does get messed up once we reload the game. And the bluebird is drifting over this way? I almost forgot about you actually. It hasn't been hovering above our creatures for quite some time, so... do you think maybe it's trying to lead them over here? Maybe just down the shore to get closer to Adam's home. Or perhaps there's something over here that they need to be concerned with. I wonder if Soul would notice that? Maybe he would want to investigate, since all of the bunnies are finally gone now. So we'll have him go ahead and dig up a couple more of those worms, and then maybe scoot over here. That way he can get a better look at whatever this bluebird might be circling around. Now, since his niece is also very curious by nature, maybe this would be a good opportunity for her to dip her toes into the scouting life too. He probably wouldn't even notice that she's behind him since she is so very, very stealthy, so quiet and easily camouflaged. So unless he tried to pick up some of those grasses perhaps, he would have no idea that she's behind him. I wonder if he would be okay with her following. I kind of feel like he wouldn't be too strict of a creature. In fact, he's probably just happy to have the company, since so many others seem to leave him behind. So Daylight, come on over here and see if you can breed again with Tavanku, and we'll let you two have just one more baby. Your family might not be as big as the ancients by the tree, but I don't know if many can top Ismi and her brood. I guess the closest we can bring Daybreak is going to be right here. We'll have to catch up on the next turn, and that leaves Ismi to scout ahead for you. Maybe sniffing around for some more of those roots, and of course to make sure that no berryinas spawned in the meantime. It looks like we only have bunnies out here right now, so you guys should be safe, and you should be safe to leave your babies behind for a little bit too. That probably has them the most concerned, and that's why Daybreak is a little bit reluctant to leave that nursery. So it's just down to you again, Trinket. There is some fish down there, I think, or is that just the algae? Oh no, I think that might be the shadow of the algae. Yeah, all the fish has gone upstream now, so I guess you're going to have to take your babies up there to do a little bit more hunting. For now, we'll leave you here to keep everybody warm, and of course to keep the bluebirds away. So let's go ahead and skip the day, and cross our fingers for a very, very lucky baby between Reko and Tavan. Oh, it is quite clear that your ancestors approve of this. Look at this. A baby with the poison fangs again. And not only that, but she looks so similar to Adam, if not for that water body. Oh, she might look just like Adam. Yes, it is quite clear to me that Adam's ways are finally coming back full force. A bit of an awkward name to choose. Salami, is that what we're going to call her? Maybe that was Tavan's half-hearted attempt to honor his grandmother in a way. His grandmother who was cursed to spend her days as a bluebird because she just couldn't leave her family behind. And look at this. Oh my gosh. Tavanku, you have someone to pass your healing powers to? And does she even have the stripes? Oh, another striped baby. How interesting. And she's cute as a button too. I think it's those berryina ears. Oh, they look so cute on the purr snouts. They're much smaller than the regular ears, I guess. It almost makes her look more like a Persian cat. Quite interesting. She looks like she could be a very regal individual, even with a crown of ram horns to show for it too. I think we'll name this baby Aura. I feel like that would be fitting for her. And I guess she's going to have to learn very quickly her father's ways. Oh, he's getting cold too, you poor thing. Why don't you scooch on over here so you can spend your final moments warmed by the love of your family. It's good to see that our next generation is going to be very, very strong indeed. They're going to have those stories to take with them. They're going to have the strength to keep them safe. And hopefully they're going to have the wisdom too, to ensure that they don't run into any dangers out here. So in the next episode, we'll see if Izmi's family can make their way all the way to this glacier that Frost Owl saw in his dreams. I guess in a way, they're making their way straight over to the next safe haven too. Maybe they could even colonize this place to get it ready for the next migration. I do hope this bluebird is going to lead the rest of our tribe to the ports as well. It certainly seems like they're trying to. It's almost like they're swooping straight down the shore, so it's just up to Sol and his niece to get everybody on the same page. And I think that Tavon is going to be a little bit more willing to go on this adventure now that he knows the bounties of Adam's land. He is quite the curious little kitty indeed. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!